96th minute, World Cup dreams hanging by a thread, and then he happens.
This is up after it, Scales wins the header, there's a chance! Yeah! Oh, there's the goal! There's the goal! That's Troy Parrott!
5 goals, 2 matches, 1 nation saved. Fast forward to today, he's banging in goals in Europe, carrying Ireland on his back, and his numbers? Troy Parrott, the kid Tottenham forgot about, just sent an entire nation into absolute chaos. But here's what's actually scary. This isn't luck. This is the story of a wonder kid who was supposed to disappear and became a goal machine instead. 23 years old, Dublin-born striker, currently tearing it up at AZ Alkmaar in the Netherlands. If that name sounds vaguely familiar, it's probably because you remember the hype, the Tottenham wonder kid who was supposed to be the next Harry Kane. Spoiler alert, that didn't happen. But here's where it gets interesting. After years of failed loans and broken promises, something clicked. And now, he's sitting on roughly 23 goals for AZ, just dragged Ireland to the World Cup playoffs with a brace against Portugal and a hat-trick against Hungary, including a 96th minute winner that has grown men in tears.
Stepped out, Azaz. Some Irish pressure. Troy Parrott, they could be in here. Is that 2-2? The flag stays down. It's 2-2. The inspiration has come from Troy Parrott. 2 goals again. And now let's see what this Hungary team are made of. A draw no good, remember. We've got 10 minutes to find a winner and a place in the playoff at stake.
Wow, what a finish from Troy Parrott.
The scary truth isn't just that Parrott's scoring, it's that his profile, his numbers, his mentality, everything screams future elite striker. And most of Europe, they're sleeping on it. Let me show you why that's a massive mistake. Let's rewind. Troy Parrott wasn't just any academy kid. At 15, Tottenham convinced him to leave Dublin's Belvedere youth setup and move to North London. The Irish media went wild. Comparisons to Robbie Keane, whispers of the next Kane. That's a lot of weight for a teenager. At 17, Jose Mourinho handed him his debut. 4 senior appearances followed, and suddenly everyone's talking about Spurs' next homegrown star. But then, reality hit. Loan to Millwall, 0 league goals. His work rate was praised, sure, but nobody's building statues for effort alone. Ipswich, a couple of goals, nothing special. MK Dons in League One finally hit double figures, but people just shrugged, League One level at best. Then came Preston, where injuries and inconsistency kept stalling everything. And here's the brutal part about being labelled the next big thing at 17. When you're not immediately brilliant, people assume you never will be. The pressure, the expectations from Spurs fans, from Ireland fans, it doesn't just push you forward, sometimes it crushes you. By 21, Troy Parrott looked like every other promising academy striker who couldn't quite make the jump. And in football, that's usually where the story ends. Loan moves dry up, contracts run down, and suddenly you're rebuilding in League Two or abroad somewhere nobody's watching. Most careers that look like this at 22 don't suddenly explode, but Parrott's did. Let's be honest, by 2023, the narrative around Troy Parrott in England was pretty much written. Another academy graduate who couldn't cut it. Talented? Sure, but talent without output is just potential that never materialized. He'd spent years bouncing between loans, collecting modest goal tallies, battling injuries that kept disrupting any momentum. In interviews, you could hear the frustration creeping in, admissions of self-doubt, questions about whether he'd ever get that breakthrough moment. Even for Ireland, where he'd shown flashes, he wasn't the guy. Not yet. Just another promising forward who might contribute someday, but probably not in a World Cup. But here's the thing about modern football, clubs move fast. By 22, if you're still figuring it out on loan spells, most big clubs have already moved on mentally. Your file gets closed. They're looking at the next batch of 17-year-olds who might be the one. On paper, Troy Parrott at 22 was a cautionary tale waiting to be written. Decent player, sure, but a guy who'd probably settle into a solid championship career if he was lucky. Nothing wrong with that, but a far cry from what everyone expected. Except something nobody saw coming was about to happen, because while England was writing him off, the Netherlands was watching, and what they saw? Something completely different. That's where the story gets scary. Summer 2023. Troy Parrott joins Excelsior Rotterdam on loan, another move to a league most English fans don't follow closely. But something shifts immediately. 10 league goals, top scorer for a team fighting near the bottom of the Eredivisie table. Suddenly, he's delivering consistent end product, but more importantly, and this is key, he's enjoying football again.
Lamproe. Goeie bal. Parrott. Parrott voor de kans. Parrott voor de goal. En dat is wat ze nodig hebben. En dus is er weer hoop. 20e minuut 1-0. Lamproe. Prima bal. Waarbij Van den Berg eerst lijkt te denken dat hij die paas er nog uit kan halen. En dus niet meeloopt met Parrott. Maar dan gezien is. Ja, maakt het knap af.
In a Sky Sports interview, Parrott talked about how different the environment felt, the coaching, the culture, the way Dutch football encouraged him to play. One detail stood out. They told him to stop trying to do everything, stop dropping deep trying to prove he could link play, create chances, do all the fancy stuff, just get in the box, be a striker. Sounds simple, right? But for someone who'd spent years trying to justify his existence on loan deals, constantly proving he belonged, being told just score goals was liberating. The Eredivisie has a history of reviving forwards. Suarez, Bony, even Josie Altidore looked world-class there for a bit. It's a league where attackers get space, get chances, get confident. And for Parrott, it was exactly what he needed. AZ Alkmaar were watching, and in the summer of 2024, they made their move. AZ bought Tony Parrott permanently for roughly €8 million. In today's market, that's almost suspiciously cheap for a starting striker in European competition. And then, he started proving why that was a bargain. 20-plus goals across Eredivisie and Europa competition, 6 league goals in just over 500 minutes this season. But here's where it gets interesting. His expected goals, around 5.5. He's scoring at slightly above what the data predicts. That's not someone living off wonder strikes and getting lucky. That's sustainable, repeated finishing. Look at his underlying numbers. Constant touches in the opposition box. Penalties won because he's always attacking dangerous areas. Heavy involvement in shot-creating actions. Named Eredivisie Player of the Month. Called an Eredivisie sensation by multiple outlets.
Chavez. Terugleggen, ja prima. Parrott. Schitterend afgemaakt. En voor de derde achtereenvolgende wedstrijd maakt hij er 2. Dat deed hij tegen Ilve Stamperen. Dat deed hij tegen Vaduz. Dat doet hij tegen Groningen. Dan is de wedstrijd ook voorbij. 2 minuten extra tijd. Meer hoefde dat ook.
These are the exact metrics you see from forwards who end up moving to top 5 leagues for 30 to 40 million. We've seen this movie before. Young striker dominates Eredivisie. Data backs it up. Suddenly, a Premier League or Bundesliga club drops serious money. But here's the scary part. Right now, outside of the Netherlands and Ireland, barely anyone's paying attention. He's not on those viral YouTube compilation channels. He's not getting the hype treatment on social media. He's just quietly becoming elite. And that's dangerous, because by the time everyone notices, by the time his name starts trending and the transfer rumors heat up, his price tag's going to double. The smart clubs, they're already watching. November 2025 World Cup qualifiers. Ireland needs miracles. First up, Portugal away. Troy Parrott scores twice. Ireland wins 2-0. Massive result. But maybe you'll chalk it up to a good day in the office. Then comes Hungary. Home match, everything on the line. Ireland goes down early. Parrott pulls one back. Hungary scores again. 2-1. Dying minutes. World Cup dreams slipping away. 89th minute. Parrott equalizes. 2-2. Extra time looming. 96th minute. One last attack. The ball falls to him in the box. Goal. Absolute bedlam. Parrott's in tears. His family's in tears. The entire stadium's losing their minds. Ireland's going to the World Cup playoffs. 5 goals in 2 matches. Hat-trick with a 96th minute winner. After the match, he talked about karma, all of those years of struggle, the doubt, the near misses. He talked about representing a country that hasn't been to a World Cup since 2002. This isn't stat padding in a dead rubber. This is delivering under maximum pressure in must-win games when millions of people are watching. This is the difference between good player and the guy you want when everything's on the line. That's not something you can teach. You either have it or you don't. And Troy Parrott, he's got it. Let's break down why Troy Parrott's profile is actually perfect for where football's heading. Physically, 1.85 meters, strong frame, good mobility. He's not a static target man, but he's also not some lightweight false nine either. He can battle centre-backs, hold the ball up, but also run channels and press from the front. Tactically, this is where it gets interesting. Watch his movement in the box. He's constantly arriving late at the near post, peeling off defenders at the back post, finding pockets between centre-back and fullback. It's intelligent, predatory stuff. Not flashy, but devastatingly effective. And here's what the Dutch coaching staff unlocked. By keeping him higher, by encouraging him to stay on the shoulder of the last defender, rather than dropping deep, they've turned him into a constant threat. He's still comfortable linking play when needed, but now his default position is where can I hurt you? That's modern striker play. You need to press, you need to run, you need to create space for others, but ultimately, your job is to be in dangerous positions as often as possible. Mentally, this is someone who's already lived through failure and bounced back. That's rare at 23. Most players his age haven't faced real adversity yet. Parrott spent years being told he wasn't good enough, dealt with injuries, handled the pressure of being the next big thing, and watched it fall apart. And instead of breaking, he rebuilt himself. That kind of resilience, combined with his age and upside, that's scary. Oh, and one more thing, Tottenham included a 20% sell-on clause in his AZ deal. They clearly think there's a big move coming. So, where does this go? Short term, if Troy Parrott keeps this scoring rate, Ireland's genuinely got a chance at the 2026 World Cup. Not just showing up, actually competing. With him leading the line, they've got someone who can punish teams in crucial moments. For AZ, they could become a serious dark horse in Europa or Conference League. They've got a striker in genuine form, and those competitions, they love a Cinderella story. But let's talk transfers. The Eredivisie's been a stepping stone for years. Forwards who dominate there often make the jump for bigger teams. Parrott's got the age, the stats, the international pedigree, and that Spurs sell-on clause. If he moves for, say, 35 to 40 million euros, Tottenham gets a serious chunk of that. That's not charity, that's smart business from a club that clearly thinks his value's only going up. Where does he fit? Think about high-pressing Bundesliga sides who need a mobile 9, mid-table Premier League clubs building around a young striker, even some of the smaller Champions League clubs who need someone to lead the line. This isn't transfer gossip, this is profile analysis. He's got the tools, the mentality, and the production. Someone is going to take a chance, probably sooner than you think. Right now, Troy Parrott's an Eredivisie star and an Irish hero. In 2 years, the scary truth might be that your club has to face him every week. From failed Spurs wonderkid, to loan struggles, to Dutch redemption, to AZ gold machine, to Ireland's clutch striker. That's the journey. But here's the real scary stuff. Troy Parrott isn't a meme anymore. He's not potential waiting to be unlocked. He's not a cautionary tale. He's quietly become exactly what everyone hoped he'd be. Only now, he's sharper, tougher, and way more dangerous. Think about how many young players get written off at 21 when all they really needed was the right environment, the right coaching, and a fresh start. How many careers end before they should because nobody's patient enough to wait? So, here's my question. Where do you see Troy Parrott in 2 years? Does he stay at AZ and become a club legend? Does he get that big move to a top 5 league? Or does he prioritize Ireland and go down as one of their greatest ever strikers? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more deep dives on players everyone's sleeping on, hit subscribe. Let's find the next Troy Parrott before everyone else does.